Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing, topping our newscast. The Senate Committee of the Whole has been meeting all week to consider a bill proposal that would reform the government's pension system. It's gotten a lot of attention, especially since GERS officials have said repeatedly that the retirement system will run out of money in 10 years or less. News2's Jerico Parsons has more.
The government employees' retirement system has been an issue of concern for some time. GRS officials have said time and again that the government's pension system would run out of money in less than 10 years because of an unfunded liability of about $2 billion. They've said the ratio of active employees to retirees is nearly 1-to-1, and that's not enough to sustain the system. All this week, senators have held hearings to consider a proposal by Senate President Neville James that would help reform the retirement system. Retirement officials say the system is paying out more to retirees than it's getting from active employees. They've requested an infusion of $600 million to the system by way of a pension obligation bond that would help keep GRS afloat. Bill 31-146, proposed by Senator James, lists numerous changes to the VI code. Two fixes that include increasing the age that someone can enter into early retirement from 50 to 55, and also increasing the age of regular retirement from 60 to 65. GRS officials have often been criticized for their investment choices, which some blame for the financial condition of the pension system.
It isn't only about the inflow of money to the government employees' retirement system that we have to watch. We got to watch the outflow, because I can name you two investments, two investments that the government employees' retirement system board got themselves involved in and lost over $96 million.
GRS officials denounced those criticisms and told lawmakers that the VI government owes the system millions of dollars, and that's a big contributor to the problem. Jerico Parsons, News 2.
The Committee of the Whole hearings were held earlier this week on St. Thomas and St. John. The final meeting began at 4 p.m. this afternoon on St. Croix. Former Governor John P. DeYoung Jr. appeared before the Virgin Islands Superior Court today to enter a plea of not guilty to charges that were recently filed by the Virgin Islands Department of Justice relating to the security measures at his residence while he served as the territory's governor. And here is his statement. I appeared this morning to enter my plea of not guilty in Superior Court to the charges of embezzlement of public accounts and neglecting to pay over public monies because I am, in fact, not guilty with respect to the security measures that were undertaken at my property at the beginning of my first term as governor. Each and every step taken was taken with full transparency and in adherence to standard government procedures on procurement. Moreover, I provided the government with a bank manager's check equal to the current market value of those security measures that would remain on my property. I kept my commitment, but the check was returned. I have confidence that the judicial process will result in the just and proper outcome. I thank my many friends for their expressions of support and ask them to keep faith in the certain knowledge that justice will be done. In other news, Senate President Neville James is calling on officials from Hovensa to provide answers about their plans for the closed St. Croix refinery. In a statement issued Wednesday, Senator James said Hovensa's owners should sell it or scrap it. James said the VI needs concrete answers about whether there will be a sale of the property or whether the owners might need to consider selling the usable parts for profit. The Senate president also said the 31st legislature has been in office 9 months and they haven't heard anything from Hovensa's representatives about whether they still intend to go through with the sales process stipulated by the Fourth Amendment agreement. Governor Kenneth Mapp has appointed Ms. Joss Springett Esquire to the position of acting chief negotiator of the Virgin Islands Office of Collective Bargaining. That was effective Tuesday, September 1st. This appointment remains in effect until a permanent chief negotiator is approved. As the Assistant Attorney General assigned to the Virgin Islands Office of Collective Bargaining, Attorney Springett has represented the governor and all central, semi-autonomous and autonomous government agencies in labor and employment matters. She is a member of the American Bar Association, the Virgin Islands Bar Association, and the Bar of the District Court of the Virgin Islands. Governor Mapp signed several contracts for the Department of Public Works, which will vastly improve road conditions, he said. On St. Croix, there is a signed contract with VI Paving for necessary road work on Emancipation Drive from Hannah's Rest signal light to Claudio Marco Elementary School. On St. John, emergency roadway repairs will take place on Route 10, Centerline Road. The damage to this road was a result of Tropical Storm Otto and has affected travel on the island of St. John. Island Roads will commence work on this project immediately, he says. On St. Thomas, a contract has been signed with Island Roads for the finalization of the Rothschild Francis Market Square rehabilitation project. Turn our attention to crime reports. Police on St. Thomas are investigating a fatal shooting incident that occurred 12:24 p.m. Thursday this afternoon in the area of Brewers Bay. According to the preliminary investigation, the victim of the shooting has been identified as 25-year-old Denard Lawrence, who was listed as having been DOA, dead on arrival, at the time police arrived on the scene. Witnesses have informed police that the young man had just disembarked from a safari bus and began to walk up the hill, making his way towards the beach when the sound of multiple gunshots were heard. Denard Lawrence sustained multiple gunshots and succumbed to his wounds on the scene. The incident is under investigation by detectives with the Criminal Investigation Bureau. Please call them if you have any information. Officers have provided this video clip of a burglary retrieved from the surveillance cameras installed by a business owner in the hope that someone may recognize the suspect. They say at roughly 11 p.m. on Friday, the owner of the Flight Deck restaurant closed and secured the business for the day. At 6 a.m. the following morning, the owner arrived and noticed that the eastern side glass window had been shattered and discovered that a Toshiba laptop had been taken in addition to cash from the cash register. The preliminary investigation shows that the thief shattered the window with a rock. If you recognize the suspect, contact the Criminal Investigation Unit. Here are a few numbers: 714-9803, 714-9849, or 911. On Thursday, September 3rd at 12:30 a.m., a female motorist told officers she'd been in the midst of taking one of her two friends home after having left their place of employment after a day's work. As the trio drove into the area of Estate Barron Spot, they passed a small black vehicle occupied by two young black males. After dropping the friend off, the pair noticed the same black vehicle following them as they suddenly heard gunfire ring out and felt the impact of the projectiles as the vehicle was hit. The pair, uninjured in the assault, immediately drove to the police substation. At roughly 5:14 a.m. on Wednesday, September 2nd, officers were dispatched by the 911 emergency call center to a residence in Estate Diamond Ruby in response to the report of a burglary. Responding officers met with the homeowner, a 73-year-old female, who stated that a male individual had gained entry into her home through a window, sexually molested her, and took a 32-inch television from the residence. Police continue to investigate. Turn our attention to the court. District Court Judge Curtis Gomez sentenced Clinton Todman Jr., 44, to 40 months in federal prison for his conviction of felon in possession of a firearm. Todman pleaded guilty on May 7, 2015 to the charge of felon in possession of a firearm on February 5th after receiving descriptions of two vehicles exchanging gunfire in the area of the Costules on St. Thomas. VI police officers searched for vehicles matching the descriptions. During the search for the vehicles, officers observed Todman in the driver's seat of a black Honda in the area of Tutu High Rise. After Todman exited the vehicle, the officers patted him down for their safety and retrieved a Caltech .40 caliber firearm with an obliterated serial number. Well, our town, Frederiksted, hosted a meet and greet last week to allow the residents of Frederiksted to talk with government representatives about some of the issues facing the St. Croix town. The meeting was also held to allow Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett to hear directly from the Frederiksted residents. NEWS2's Jerico Parsons has the story. Welcome back. As we reported, Governor Kenneth Mapp addressed the people of the territory and the media in a live press conference on Wednesday to discuss relief efforts underway for Dominica. And he said CFVI, the community foundation of the Virgin Islands, is sending 100% of the proceeds of their donation to the Dominican government. So if you send a check in the memo portion, please indicate for Dominica relief. Here's more.
The relief supplies are being assembled on St. Thomas at the meeting hall of the Wasin Dominique and the Dominican Association and affiliated organizations in Tutu behind the O. Henry Cleaners. And on St. Croix, the collection points are the Plaza Extra East and Kmart West on St. Croix.
Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands has opened their website. You can make a donation via their PayPal right on their website. You can go to cfvi.net. There is an icon there for you to use. And then also you can do credit card donations via their website also. Please, this is an ongoing effort. This is not something that is going to be have a solution today or tomorrow.
And the Smith Bay Community Action Foundation, they're also teaming up to assist as they get ready to host their 5th annual Labor Day extravaganza and parade. This event kicks off 6 p.m. on Friday, September 4th through Monday, September 7th, with the parade starting at 4 p.m. There will be nightly entertainment, food, drinks, live music, bouncers for the kids, face painting, and much more. There will also be a bug and car show display. Now, due to the devastation from Tropical Storm Erica, they will be conducting a Dominica emergency relief drive for the victims that were impacted. Be sure to donate clothes, shoes, or non-perishable food items. Governor Mapp will be traveling out of the territory on Thursday, September 3rd to New York. He will march as the Grand Marshal in the West Indian American Day Carnival Association Labor Day Parade and then make an appearance at the USVI booth. Now, while in New York, the governor will attend several media appointments, including Fox 5 in New York and Bloomberg Radio's Talking Stock. Mapp will also speak at the Caribbean Cultural Fest in Harlem, where St. Thomas artist Pressure will be headlining at the Jackie Robinson Park. He will return to the territory on Wednesday, September 9th. During his absence, Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter will be acting governor. Now, that event is presented by the Caribbean Cultural Fest, presented by the Virgin Islanders United, Inc. It's taking place on Sunday, September 6th in the Jackie Robinson Park in Harlem, New York City. The event takes place from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. and it's completely free to the public. A lot of Virgin Islanders will be there. The event is the largest celebration of Virgin Islands music and culture in North America and features a star-studded cast of music performers, including, as we just mentioned, VI headliner Pressure Buzz Pipe. If you want some more information, you can visit www.virginislandersunited.org. Back to school news. Senator Villalay has organized a meet and greet on Tuesday, September 8th from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 at the St. Croix Educational Complex and the St. Croix Central High School to welcome students back to their first day of school and to give them some inspiration. Senator Villalay has invited other professional males in the community to join him in this endeavor to encourage the importance of education. He says this is an opportunity for males in our community to go into the schools, greet the students, and show them what it means to be educated while giving them a strong sense of purpose for achieving in school. Well, Governor Mapp signed a proclamation yesterday setting aside 2 days of the year in which Virgin Islanders are urged to pray for the safety and success of the parents, students, teachers, and administrators who are returning to campus for the new school year. He said, "We want to make our schools safe and peaceful learning environments free from violence and conducive to learning. All fathers of school-age children in the VI are encouraged to signal their personal commitment to quality education for their children by taking them to school on that first day and maintaining a presence and interest in their education thereafter." Saturday, September 5th, 2015 and Sunday, September 6th, 2015 are proclaimed as the back-to-school days of prayer in the USVI on behalf of parents, students, teachers, and administrators of the Virgin Islands school system. The Virgin Islands Department of Education, St. Thomas St. John District has announced reporting dates for veteran teachers and paraprofessionals. All veteran teachers of the St. Thomas St. John District are to report to the BCB Auditorium on Friday, September 4th from 8:30 to 11 a.m. for a welcome session. Veteran teachers will report to their school following that session. All paraprofessionals of the St. Thomas St. John District report to the BCB Auditorium on Friday, September 4th from 1 to 3 p.m. for a welcome session. Paraprofessionals will report to their schools that morning. Parents are also reminded that the parent conference will be held at the Marriott's on Sunday, September 6th from 8 to 3:30. Well, here's a look at the list of upcoming orientation schedules for St. Croix's Public Elementary Schools. Alfredo Andrews and the Claudio Marco's orientation is at 9 a.m. on Friday. It's in the auditorium for Alfredo and the cafeteria for Claudio Marco. Lou Muckle's orientation is at 10 a.m. Friday in the school's cafeteria. Juanita Gardine's orientation is also at 10 a.m. Friday, but in that school's auditorium. Orientation for Pearl B. Lawson and Eulalie Rivera schools are both at 1 p.m. in both the school's auditoriums. Alexander Henderson's orientation is Tuesday morning before students head to class in the school cafeteria. Orientation is for both parents and students at all the schools, and school fees like insurance and IDs will be collected at that time if required. Impact in Your World Christian Ministries hosted its 8th annual backpack outreach, preparing the students for back to school. That program was held on Saturday at the main campus of Impact in Your World Christian Ministries in Altona. Organizers said the goal of this outreach program is to provide disadvantaged children from grades K through 8, kindergarten to 8, with a backpack filled with school supplies needed to begin the 2015-2016 school year. So far, Impact in Your World have donated over 1,000 backpacks to children in the Virgin Islands community. They say thanks to the generosity of local businesses such as Yacht Haven Grand and Caribbean Food Service, they met their goal to distribute 250 backpacks, said the senior pastor, Reverend Dr. Gerald McDonald. Great donation there. Be sure to stick around. Your News2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.